All right, guys, it's a special. Ready?
It's a special technical difficulties.
Ready? Are you? All right. It's a special Halloween episode of the WAN show.
Badass.
Yeah, I'm the caped badass.
Well, if you need to cover your face like that, why wouldn't you just have a scarf?
Why wouldn't you have a scarf?
Bandana.
Because I have a cape. It's not for concealing your identity.
Are you gonna fight like? Oh.
You can.
That's so stupid.
You don't want to get punched in the mouth, do you?
I think Jane would beat up the caped badass.
Okay, we should probably both explain our costumes. So, the caped badass fights crime.
Basically,
with
he
his
ran out of time.
Tattooed
and,
arms.
Grabbed stuff out of a costume closet and was like, "Sure."
How did you know?
That's
exactly what I did. And wears a cape in green and purple to symbolize his badassness.
Ninja Turtles or something.
Did you notice that it smells?
No.
I have owned this cape since.
It does kind of smell.
Here, hold on. I have.
It just smells like old though.
Yeah,
like it doesn't smell bad.
I have owned this cape, which goes down to kind of my thighs, since I was small enough that it touched the ground when I walked.
Wow.
Yep, I have owned this for like 20 years.
Oh, you can tell by like the threading and stuff at the top. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty old, but it has served me well through many Halloweens. And I forget where I was going with this. Right, so that's the history of my... What are you supposed to be?
Linus has never seen Firefly or Serenity, so I'm Jane from Firefly.
Really? You bring a weapon on my show?
Yeah, man.
Pew, pew,
that's not all. I also have a grenade. That probably sounds amazing.
Wow, the kinds of explosions that grenade will set off.
So I have a gun and a grenade, and I have my Jane's hat, and I have a brown coat. So there's some symbolism that you wouldn't understand, but it's there.
All right, so we've got a great show for you guys today. I don't know what the topics are because I forgot my laptop. I'm going to go get those while we roll the intro. Ah, yes, Tesla is in trouble again. Not because they did anything wrong, but because the other people are basically buttholes. Also, 18-core Xeons are on the way, so prepare your buttholes because that is going to be pretty fantastic. I mean, we're already blown away with the kind of performance we're getting from our 12-core Xeon. Well, that's like 6 more cores than a 12-core Xeon.
Aw, yeah.
Aw, yeah, baby.
Alienware GPU graphics amplifiers. We'll explain what exactly that is later.
Graphics amplifier!
And unsurprisingly, yet again, an Ubisoft developer doesn't understand extremely basic concepts.
And opens his mouth about it.
We're not even going to give any more information than that, but we'll talk about it later.
I mean, really, is there anything else for us to even say? Is there really?
That should just be a permanent bullet point, and then we can just swap out the word Ubisoft for whatever game developer is being stupid.
Yeah, and the name, and like what title they're working on. Yeah. All right, intro time. And our sponsors today are 5-4 Club, which if I knew where the thing was... Ah, yes, there we go, 5-4 Club. And we're going to have an offer for you today that hopefully I will actually get right. As well as Dollar Shave Club. Boopity boop, shave time and shave money by having high-quality razors delivered directly to your door, rather than going to the store and paying too much for them for some reason, because... Paying too much for things is good on the WAN show. We like paying too much for things. Oh wait, that's not our principle at all,
Both our
is it?
sponsors today are about spending less money and less time on things. That's interesting.
That is actually kind of interesting. Spending...
So you don't have to leave your house.
Our sponsors
and you
today...
can be groomed and look good when you do.
Yeah.
So you don't have to like go out there and do anything, but if you really need to, you can leave the house in style.
So you'll always look good. Because you never have to go out to retrieve supplies to look good. You'll look good without planning.
You never have to do that, like, chores or errands look.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, all crap.
Yeah,
Anyways.
It's like, actually, I'm in my PJs with, like...
I just do that permanently, though.
Yeah, I know. So that's a sad thing. Okay, well, I'm going to let you do the first topic here because I need to go get my laptop because I forgot it. So
You're super ready for the show today.
Caped badass away. Ow.
I'm sorry. He tripped on his headphone cable when he was trying to leave the room and like actually fell over while doing the caped badass thing, which was absolutely perfect. Sorry, that was really funny. Anyways, Tesla runs into trouble again, as we were talking about earlier. The U.S. government is giving GM and other manufacturers and automakers in general preferential treatment, which is quite annoying. They're doing that because they're setting a law in, I believe, Michigan, where you have to sell your car through an independent dealership. You can't do the showroom thing that Tesla likes doing. I've been talking about this kind of stuff all over the States for a long time, but this is more a targeted experience. So the Michigan law forbids having galleries, like I was just discussing, and Michigan customers would still be able to buy the vehicles online or travel out of state to a corporate-owned store out of state, which I think is ridiculously silly. You don't want them to be able to go to a gallery showroom where they would actually at least be able to sit in and see the car before buying it, but you're totally okay with them buying it online. What? That makes no sense at all. Like there's the independent dealership part already doesn't make sense because I hate dealing with independent dealerships every single time I have to, which has been once, but still, it sucked.
I've done it too, and it sucked for me too. So that's a sample size of at least 2.
Oh man, absolutely fantastic. This is definitely all the sample size you would need for running an actual study of how these things work.
I mean, the issue is that I get independent dealerships when they have a specific value add beyond what the manufacturer is able to do for some reason. But if the manufacturer chooses not to work through an independent dealership, then that should
be fine.
That should be their right. You shouldn't mandate middlemen.
If you could do that, you should be able to mandate out Apple stores.
I mean, the merchant class sprung up because their entire job was to facilitate the movement of goods from one place to another. So they were actually, you would actually get, silk from here, and then you would take it over there, and you would sell the silk, and you would buy gems, and you take it over there, buy low, sell high, the whole, being a merchant thing.
Moving it around, yeah.
Being a merchant isn't about sitting on your butt in one place with the regulatory bodies just telling consumers and telling manufacturers that they all have to go be routed through you so you can take a cut. Like, how does that make any sense? How does that help us progress? How does the rest of the world not completely leave the US behind in the dark ages?
And I don't understand. Like, I would understand way more if, say, Tesla was like a non-American company. I don't care where they're from. If they were just a non-American company in general. So these laws were to try to help American companies. Tesla's an American company. They manufacture in the States. You're barring a company that manufactures their cars in the States against companies that you're not barring, which in a lot of cases don't. Which is so stupid. A lot of cars are manufactured in Mexico. I don't know a ton about car manufacturing, but I know that there's a lot of cars manufactured in Mexico that are not going to have to go through the hoops that Tesla has to go through, and they're manufacturing, designing everything in the States. They're even making their batteries in the States. They're planning on putting that battery manufacturing plant in Nevada. So, like, what are you trying to accomplish here? This is a new, really exciting company that's coming out of the States.
And it's like they're determined to make them not want to stay there.
Yeah. Like, I think the only reason why they're staying there is because, like, Elon likes the States. So
Elon kind of does as he pleases, doesn't he?
Yeah, he pretty much does.
All right, have we already talked about Apple versus retailers, the war on NFC payment technology? So Apple Pay is not exactly revolutionary or groundbreaking. I mean, Google Wallet's been available for something like 4 years.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But
yeah.
I don't think it's been super widely used.
No, it hasn't been super widely used. It hasn't been super widely publicized. It's one of those things where Google introduced the tech and basically went, yeah, use it or don't or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But Apple Pay, pretty much just for those of you who aren't familiar, uses an NFC chip in the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus in order to enable, and I think the new iPads also
Really?
also have it as well. Yeah.
Imagine trying to pay with this giant iPad.
Could be wrong about that one. I hope I'm wrong about that one because that's gonna be a whole new level of pad hole. Like, it's like
You can take your pictures of your
selfie,
food in the restaurant.
Yeah, iPad selfie.
Yeah.
And like iPad tap to pay.
You can take your selfie with your iPhone as you pay with your iPad, just to show how stupid it is. That would be fantastic.
So anyway, it uses the NFC chip, unfortunately, for what is the least useful thing possible for me, because Apple Pay isn't even rolled out in Canada. There is no timeline for Canada, and I really wish we were able to do simple things like file transfers and stuff like that. But no, Apple needs to forge their own path, don't they? So basically it uses your NFC chip at those same terminals that if you're in an enlightened country like Australia, of all places, for some reason is like way ahead of the rest of the world on this stuff, allows you to simply tap your device, authenticate using a PIN code or your Touch ID even, and then pay for something with a debit or credit card without ever actually giving the retailer access to those credit card numbers or anything like that. So that huge Target breach, that huge Home Depot breach, we're talking 40 and 56 million customer credit cards that were compromised in each of those ones respectively. If I have those numbers correct, don't quote me on that. There would be no potential for that if you used Apple Pay for everything. Because the idea is that it actually stores the information in the same place on the phone as your Touch ID information, which is not sent to Apple servers. Very freaking cool stuff. Of course, you have to register the bank accounts and credit cards and all that. But the point is, the idea is that it will be more secure, and Apple's taking a fairly small cut on top of what a credit card would already be taking. Right. I think it's, now this is a detail that I actually forget. I think it's 0.15%.
I'm not sure.
Apple Pay fee 0.15. I'm going to try searching for that. Yeah, Apple gets 0.15% cut of the purchase. So actually, they're not trying to go and be a credit card with credit card-like margins. I mean, often credit cards are in the 3+% range. I hope you guys realize that when you buy something with a credit card, every retailer in the world that accepts credit cards is basically just increasing their prices by 3.5-4.5% in order to compensate for that, because they take those rewards that you get that
are from that
air miles, cash back. They're just giving you back some of what they already took from you.
The reason why they're pushing people to use credit cards and giving them these reward programs is because they skim money off it all the time.
Yep.
It's not even necessarily because of the interest they get from you not paying it, because you don't understand compound interest. But
So anyway, Apple's pitch to the banks in the States was, look, we're going to increase security, we're going to reduce credit card fraud, which should reduce your insurance premiums, because every time someone fraudulently uses your credit card to buy a Hummer, either kind, of course. Anytime, yeah, I went there. Anytime someone uses your credit card to make some kind of a purchase, and that item doesn't get tracked down and returned, well, somebody has to pay for that. And because of credit card fraud prevention and the way that most credit card issuers will protect the consumer, you're going to get a refund as long as you follow the proper steps in order to report that stuff. So someone has to pay for that. So if Apple kind of goes, well, look, any of our customers who use your card through Apple Pay will reduce the potential for fraudulent use, making life easier for you guys. Well, hey, that's worth the 0.15%, isn't it? We're making life better for everyone. Well, retailers are butthurt now, apparently, which is pretty frustrating to me. And it looks like, even though we're not getting statements from companies like CVS and Rite Aid in the US that have stopped accepting Apple Pay. I mean, we're talking some retailers, Apple Pay was working.
Yeah, and then they stopped.
Was working, and then they shut it off.
Yeah.
And you'll get an error message on the cashier. You can actually see the error message. It says Apple Pay not supported or something like that. And they're not issuing statements necessarily, but the speculation is that they're developing their own NFC payment software in order to save the 2 to 3% per transaction that they would normally have to pay to now Apple plus a credit card company or bank or whatever else the case may be. I mean, normally I'm not a huge fan of any kind of proprietary standard, but the thing about Apple's proprietary standard here is all you really have to do is give them a fee that is going to save you money and effort in the big picture in order to manage this this system that really anyone, as long as they cooperate, can buy into.
Wouldn't you have to pay the Apple fee and the credit card fee? Mm-hmm. So wouldn't it not save you money in the future? Wouldn't it cost you...
Not for the retailer, yes. But the retailer should be more concerned about the customer experience, in my mind.
Yeah.
The retailer is going to want to be as appealing as possible. I mean, I forget what the number is, but I think they've got over 1 million people activated on Apple Pay already. Like massive numbers. So if you're a retailer and you kind of sit there and go, oh, well, gee, I guess I want 0.3% of the population who are evidently all interested in this easier, more secure way to pay for things. I guess I want them to not shop at my store because I'd rather release my own competing standard. I mean, at least the thing about Apple is that their standard will not help unless you directly compete with the Apple Store. Their standard, paying Apple to use it, will not directly help a competitor. Whereas if we have every pharmacy chain and every clothing chain coming up with their own NFC payment systems that you have to have your own app and you have to enter the payment information and you have to have separate management tools, well, that is much more fragmented than even Apple's still relatively closed garden system.
I don't know if it's actually going to stop people from shopping at certain stores, because I'm sure they'll still carry their debit or credit cards with them. So I don't know if it'll actually stop them, at least yet, but it could be a future thing where you want to stop carrying cards entirely when a lot more stores are picking it up and a lot more people are using this type of technology.
But that's exactly what we want. Okay, so 2 things. First of all, I disagree. I think that for certain people, for tech enthusiasts who are like into that, they will look, if it's like I'm standing here and there's Walgreens and there's CVS and one of them takes Apple Pay and one of them doesn't, I think the tech geek in me goes, I'm going to go to Walgreens.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
I could not give a crap.
The pricing is basically similar. So let's say all other things equal. They both carry, XL size condoms, the kind I need. Right? So it doesn't matter which one I go into.
Oh, geez.
I'll be safe either way.
Okay. I love how it's not like brand or reliability. It's just like sizing.
Yeah.
Ugh, my gun just fell out. That was pretty good timing.
Your gun fell out? Did it leave a mess in your pouch there?
Yeah,
This show is awful.
Yeah. Speaking of this show is awful, my mom watched the mineral oil video.
Oh, yeah.
And was like, oh, it was so awesome. And stuff didn't bring up like the endless amount of innuendos. It's like, thanks, Mom.
I mean, you know what? Here, I want to hear from you guys. Let's do a Twitter blitz. So hit me at.
Would it change your purchasing decision?
Yeah. Would it change your purchasing decision? And let's not lock it into Apple Pay. I don't want this to be about Apple Pay necessarily. I want this to be about
NFC
more progressive payment technologies. So let's say the shop supports Google Wallet or Apple Pay or some kind of cool touchless smartphone-enabled payment technology that you care about.
I just see, my thing is I care less, like, I still think it's cool, but I care less about that than other metrics. Now, if it's going with what you're saying, where the stores are exactly identical,
yeah,
other than the NFC Pay thing, like, sure, I'll go there. But like the store I buy video games from, because I really like that store and I want to be able to support them because they're cool.
Right.
I'm not going to stop going there because they don't have an NFC payment system, because they probably wouldn't be the first ones to adopt that, because they're this tiny little store, and changing things like their debit machines is probably not something they're super worried about.
So this might come down to more like 5 years from now, 8 years from now, when everyone has NFC payment systems, but it's going to come down to
default on the debit machines that you buy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to, do they support the system that you use most in your daily life? Like, if you're a Google Wallet user or you're a, Apple Pay user, do you go to the one that supports the one that you generally use, or do you go to the one that's a pain in the butt because they have their own stupid proprietary thing? So as it happens, the retailers that we were talking about are members of the of MCX, and they're working on their own mobile payment system, Currency. Haha, Currency, get it? But modern Currency. Actually, I think it's kind of clever. Which is in beta and expected to launch next year. It requires you to scan a barcode, though. There's like a QR code involved as well, I think, in order to make payments. And it's something that's been proven as not being as secure as near-field communication and other encrypted technologies that are used by Apple Pay and Google Wallet. So here we go. Twitter Blitz time. Apple Pay and Google Wallet are just niche services so they can tick off boxes on their marketing. PayPal should be introduced first. Interesting point.
I would use PayPal.
Yeah, I would
use a PayPal app to pay for things.
Yeah, I would probably be
I
interested
generally
in PayPal
like
as well.
PayPal. I think it should have been making more progress in the last few years.
It feels like PayPal had such an opportunity to do a Bitcoin-y type thing, where they
or something. Yeah.
or something like there was room for innovation there.
Elon, the guy who co-started it or whatever, has publicly talked about how they've been kind of disappointing
Right.
lately.
Okay, a little off topic, but if a store supports Google Wallet, will they automatically support Apple Pay? In some cases, yes. Apple Pay was just working, even though they weren't on Apple's list of launch retailers. Actually, the ones we're talking about are great examples of that. And the funny thing about these guys is they've also turned off Google Wallet at the same time,
Oh, wow.
even though Google Wallet's been working now for years.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, no one can hack cash, so that's what I use. Well, there are other issues with cash.
Yeah.
You can hack cash in real life. You know, like, where's that gun? And that crowbar. That gun, that crowbar. Do we look like people who could hack cash? Hack your cash, bro. We need a shirt.
We do.
Cash
I have
hackers.
a grenade too.
Cash hackers.
Just because it makes no sense. Ah! Anyways, if your credit card's stolen, they can reverse a lot of the charges that happened on it. If your cash is stolen, you're screwed.
Your cash is just gone.
Yeah.
That's actually in line with Josh's comment here. Cash is always going to be there.
No.
I don't care about any of them because no one accepts them here. Good point, and it's the same in Canada, but we should still look to this technology as an indication of what's coming in the future. I would go to the store that supports the technology because I want to spread the tech and make it more pervasive, and that is a very...
That's always the thing. Yeah.
That's a compelling reason
That's
to do
a
it.
voting with your wallet. That's like literally voting
Literally,
with your wallet.
your Google Wallet,
Yep.
or voting with your Pay, your Apple Pay. See, this is even more badass fist bump because it's got the tat sleeves and the jacket. Anyway,
Leather jacket,
name here. It would totally sway my choice. Not really in Oz. It is 50-50 to get PayWave, as it is when they do have it. It is so much easier. Yeah, so PayWave is their NFC thing. I think we call it PayPass here in Canada.
Yeah, but like
PayPass?
no one
Like,
uses
never
it.
works.
And every single debit machine you see has a little sticker on it, PayPass not working,
Yeah.
or something.
If I had it, I would use it like a boss. S. Oliver says, cash or cards are obsolete, but NFC payments are still too scary or sketchy to me, although I know how they work. Very interesting. We should probably do a fastest possible episode on NFC payments.
Probably.
Just try and cut through some of the garbage information that's out there about it.
Yeah.
Yes, all else being equal, I would go to the place with the more progressive payment style, says Joe Zoo. Josh says, nope, it's just another iteration of something like PayPal or Bitcoin, which is not really anything. Actually, it's not really anything
No.
like PayPal or Bitcoin.
No.
Because you're still just using your debit account or your credit account. It's just another way of accessing it without a card electronically.
Hi, Jack.
Would it... Everything
worry
else
about it.
being equal, sure, I'd take the store that makes buying things easier. I mean, I think the web... Here, we're gonna de-Twitter Blitzify this here. I think the web has proven that. Look at Amazon's model. Do they have the lowest price? Not
They're just
necessarily.
the easiest to deal with.
In fact, a lot of the times they don't. Why are they so big? Because they make shopping easy and brainless. They have everything, and you can order with one click.
And their customer service is like very well known everywhere.
Yep.
Talked about widely.
And you don't have to do any thinking. You don't have to think about, oh, how much is the shipping going to cost?
And you don't usually have to worry about it being late. Usually, more often than not, they're early. If it has to be late or early, they're usually early.
That's
I
right.
I had a shipment that was supposed to show up in like, I think it was 7 to 10 business days, and it was there the next day. I was like,
So-
what?
That to me is the biggest thing that retailers should be looking at if they're trying to decide, should we support Apple Pay or Google Wallet or MCX's upcoming standard or whatever else? And the answer should be yes. Because you want your store to be easy to shop at.
That being said, Amazon doesn't accept PayPal.
Amazon doesn't accept PayPal, which is actually continues to be a frustration for me. And if someone were to rise up and be otherwise equal to Amazon in every other way, I would choose the one that takes PayPal personally.
What's that thing from the Wall-E movie? By and
large.
large.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Costco to go e-tail because I just have a feeling that would be
Costco's
awesome.
badass.
I love Costco.
I'd be down for Costco e-tail.
All right. So our next, actually, have we called out the people who posted these on the forum? Okay, so that was
No.
LJKS Snow that posted the Apple versus retailers topic, and Victorious Secret that posted the Tesla one. And our original articles were from finance.yahoo.com and washingtonpost.com. So let's move on to some good news, some exciting news. This was posted by XA Craft on the forum. The original article here is from Digitimes, and this looks freaking awesome!
When I heard the announcement for this, I'm not even going to say what it is yet, but when I heard the announcement for this, I assumed it was coming way further in the future than it is. I didn't expect Q2 2015, according to Digitimes. Now, this is rumor. There's no content from it. Comment from Intel yet.
Yeah,
but
Intel won't say anything about it.
Apparently, as we said in the topic call out, the 18-core Xeon E7 V3 Haswell-E3 is coming. So do we have more videos on Edsel's processor coming, don't we?
Yes, we do. So the whole room water cooling loop thing, we'll talk about temperatures and stuff a little bit. And we have a video upcoming where we got our hands on a 128 gig kit of RAM. And Edsel's actually spent most of this week benchmarking various numbers of cores and various amounts of RAM in Premiere and After Effects to have a look at where the sweet spot is for processing cores and RAM and how those relate to each other. So that should be a really cool video for content creators. Cool. There we go. My screen sharing.
Hooray!
So this one's actually the article on Kit Guru, but this bad boy, a Xeon E7 V3 Haswell EX chip with 18 hyper-threaded cores, quad-channel DDR4 memory support, integrated PCI Express 3.0, and rumored, according to Digitimes, to be available in Q2 2015. However, the Digitimes article is down. And this one specifically says Intel is not commenting on it, so I wonder if our link to the Digitimes one is bad for some reason.
That's possible.
Or whatever else is happening.
Yeah. So I don't know. There isn't a ton of groundbreaking stuff here, other than the fact that it has a butt ton of cores.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot else going on other than that.
We're talking like a Nicki Minaj worth of cores.
Yeah.
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 My Anaconda wants some of that.
Does it?
Well, CPU cores, not really Nicki Minaj. She's a little old for me.
Is she?
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's like, I think
I know
she's
nothing
like
about
well
celebrities.
into her 30s or something.
Oh.
Nicki, I don't even know how to spell her name. Oops. Nicki Minaj age. She's 31. Oh, never mind. Okay, she's not as old as I thought she was. Never mind. She would still be an older lady for me, though.
Cougar Town.
And I'm married, I guess.
That might be an issue.
So okay, this is not a tech topic, but one of my old coworkers got married. Didn't tell me. Didn't have any ceremony. Has no ring. Went to the courthouse because he lives in Toronto. And he and his now wife, I guess, both work in the IT industry, and they were both in Vancouver on travel. And when you're in Toronto, I think it's like an 8-week process to get a civil union marriage certificate thing. And when you're in Vancouver, I think it's 3 weeks to get everything pushed through and make it official. So while they were here, they're trying to move to the US. And I think she has a green card and he doesn't, or something, and citizenship or whatever.
So they had to contact someone. They contacted you.
So what? No. He was just telling me he got married. Oh, by the way, I got married. I'm like, thanks for the invitation to your wedding, jackass. And he was like, well, there wasn't a wedding or a honeymoon. Our honeymoon was like we drove down to Seattle and both met with clients. And I'm just like, no, you're terrible. You're a bad person. So anyway, apparently they just spontaneously, and it was her idea apparently, she was just like, oh, hey, we're both in Vancouver, we should probably get that marriage thing done so that everything goes through more quickly. And he's like, yeah, I guess I should go to London Drugs and like get the paperwork forms. Can you imagine if you could find a lady who is so pragmatic that you could get away with something like that?
That's probably who I'm gonna.
Is that your dream lady?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know where you find these ladies, because I mean, okay, my wife is pretty practical and she's pretty down to earth, but she wanted a wedding, man. She wanted a wedding. She wanted a ring, big wedding, honeymoon. You don't get out of that stuff. I don't know how he pulled this off.
I don't know. As generations get younger, weddings and rings and stuff are slowly becoming less and less of a thing. Marriage is even becoming less and less of a thing. This isn't a tech topic. We should probably move on.
All right, so Apple Watch OS running on an iPhone this is kind of a speculative article from 9 to 5 Mac. Actually, did a really great job of this. This was originally posted on the forum by Deo26. So let's go ahead and pop this up. And I love this article.
One quick thing.
Yes.
It's not Apple Watch OS.
Yeah, it's not.
At all.
We're talking...
Not even slightly.
Thank you. We're not talking about Apple Watch OS running on iPhones in the future. We're talking about the UI design with the apps being just kind of in this kind of scatter array versus the tidy, less dense grid. Yep. We're talking about that potentially coming to the iPhone.
I was amazed at how well this worked.
This is brilliant because this is what I was in my iPhone 6 review. My biggest criticism of the phone was the way that Apple just didn't innovate when they had to. Yeah. They should have. iOS 8 should have come with this already. So I'm still going to be critical, even if they do roll this out, because the device has outgrown the way that Apple expects you to interact with it. The app ecosystem. I mean, back when and this article does a great job. Great article on 9 to 5 Mac, because when the iPhone first launched with iPhone OS, which is what we used to call it, there weren't really many third-party apps. You didn't need to organize things into folders. Yeah. There wasn't that much to do.
Yeah.
And because every phone could be operated one-handed by most people, stuff that highest priority stuff could automatically go to the top left corner, and you could actually reach that. But nowadays, it's the bottom right to center of the screen that's actually easiest to access, and I love what they've done here.
Now, I don't even necessarily like this, because you've seen how I use things. My desktop on my phone is blank. Not even kidding. My default, like the first page you go to on my phone is blank. My desktop on all of my computers are view do not show icons, so that I have no icons, including no recycle bin, because I don't like anything being there. I like extremely clean for all of my devices, so this looks incredibly messy to me, and I don't want it. But I think it's extremely cool that it exists, because I do know a lot of people that will want it, and it opens the door to other various themes and maybe slight adaptations of this whole idea, which is actually really cool. And how well it works, how you can zoom out to see the whole picture and then jump to a different area, can make navigation really fast.
Yeah, much faster than swiping 3 pages over, or even entering
swiping pages
folders.
over and then going into a folder.
Yep.
This is a horrible combination. Going over a few pages, then going into a folder would take forever, when you can just tap in between some of the icons, which will zoom it all the way out, and then tap on an icon, which will zoom it in, and then tap on the icon again, which will open the actual app.
And the article makes some great arguments for how easy this would be to adopt. Like, folders wouldn't have to go away. It could just work like this. Icons wouldn't even necessarily have to be redesigned. Oh yeah, and they make the same complaint about Apple's stupid accessibility double tap thing that I did, where it's like, what is that? That's just the kludgiest thing ever. And they even looked at this and went, well, hold on a second. What if we just take existing icons now and make them all circles? Actually, it kind of looks like you don't have to change much, doesn't it?
No, like not at all.
Loving it.
That's cool.
I would really like to see this happen.
What I'm assuming this is some travel thing. That one doesn't look super great.
Yeah,
but most of the other ones look fine.
Some of them don't work particularly well, but the reality of it is app developers are going to have a round icon anyway, if they want their app to show up on the watch. Yep. So I guess, why don't we just move to... I wonder if when the watch launches, we'll get... like, kind of, because I can't imagine. iOS has operated exactly the same way for like 7 years now. Okay, you got your grid. Maybe you get more rows. Maybe you get folders.
Maybe they're slightly larger icons.
But basically, you swipe left and right, you access the icons, and you press the thing and open the app.
Yeah.
For them to change something this fundamental, I would... Okay, two ways of looking at this. Number one is I think they kind of have to allow people to use classic navigation or new navigation.
Yeah, why not? Themes are a thing. That's one thing I really liked about this, is just having options is going to be good.
But number two is I think if Apple can validate internally that this is legitimately better and faster in every way, I hope that they have the cojones to just force everyone to switch to it. Because that's what Apple does. They figure out what's better for you, whether you like it or not, and they put it in front of you and make you use it. And that's how they innovate.
One of the biggest reasons why I've never wanted iPhones, though, is the fact that I don't think you can have a blank default screen.
No, I don't think you can.
Yeah, and I really like that.
Yeah, there's even stuff that you can't delete from the phone that comes straight from Apple, like a lot of it, and stuff that not everyone needs, like Bookstand.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, how I like using mine is I just go into the app view window every time, essentially. Right. I just press the app button at the bottom of Android, and then that opens up my viewer, and then I use it kind of like an iPhone viewer.
Right.
Where you just flip pages, and I know where everything is.
I used to do that. I've started being more of a home screen user. But I
have some alternate screens that have things on them that aren't my home screen. So if I swipe left once or right once, there's some there.
I actually, unless I'm on an HTC device and I have Blink Feed, so I'll keep that on the left. But then other than Blink Feed, I go one home screen.
Yeah.
So that way it does a couple of things. Number one is it means that I'm never navigating between home screens, so I only use folders. And then I'll have quite large folders for all the main stuff that I do. Yeah. And then number two, it means that whole Android behavior where whenever you install a new app, it dumps it on one of your home screens. If you only have one home screen and you delete all of your other ones, it just says it's full and then leaves it in the app tray.
There you go.
So I have to manually add something to my desktop if I actually want to have it.
Yeah.
So that's why I do it that way.
Yeah.
Jared Grimbowski asks us not to make fun of Nicki Minaj. She's my ba. Okay, Jared.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
I think if he adds an E, then it means in some form of relationship. But I'm not super down with the kids' lingo right now. So I might be wrong.
Kids' lingo? You're like, what, 23?
Bae? I'm almost 24.
I had enough of your crap.
Now people know how old I am.
All right, posted
No one knew before.
I'm sorry?
No one knew how old I was before.
They didn't? Oh.
No.
Well, now they do. Okay, so posted originally by Benediction on the forum. This is freaking awesome.
Anathema.
Richard Noble, the gentleman behind the last two land speed records in 1983 and 1997, is spearheading a project called Bloodhound SSC. It's been in the works for 30 years already, and we're not talking like speed of sound. You know, like that's wussy. That's like your dad's land speed record. We're talking 1,000 miles an hour. And this article on Wired is fantastic. Here's the view inside the cockpit. I mean, is that...
so epic.
Tesla could learn a thing or two about futuristic car design right there.
Those also look fake as hell.
No, this is not fake. This is it.
Those look like they were pasted there in Photoshop.
Look at this. Okay, so to augment the digital ones, in case they fail, these are state-of-the-art Rolex analog meters. Yeah, dog.
That's so badass.
So the brake pedal only works at 200 miles per hour or less.
Yeah.
And beyond that, there's like a complicated set of like air brakes and hydraulics and all that kind of crap to slow it down.
And they have a pilot driving it.
Yeah, so this is the pilot right here. His name's Andy Green, and he was actually he actually piloted. I think it was the last one.
I thought I think he flies planes as well.
Yeah. He flies planes as well. And what's cool about sort of his involvement with the project is that the cockpit of the car. Can we even call it a car? I guess sort of a car. Rocket
land
car?
rocket?
Land rocket, sure.
I don't know.
The cockpit of the car is actually specially shaped to his body.
Wow.
So, like, he's the guy who's going to drive it. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Don't get fat in the next couple months.
Yeah.
Or 2 years or whatever.
Dude, do not put on some weight because you will compromise the whole project.
Yeah.
So it's got a Rolls-Royce EJ200 jet engine taken out of a Eurofighter. We're talking 120 decibels of sound, most of which will be caused by shock waves caused by the air running over the canopy of the cockpit and into the jet engine intake. And the shock waves, counterintuitively, will slow down air as it passes over the car. And this is to ensure that the air does not hit the jet engine at 1,000 miles per hour. In fact, 1 meter before the intake of the jet engine, it slows down to 600 miles per hour.
Whoa.
To ensure that it's not going to be damaged.
That's crazy. There's some stuff like the salt. I think it's the salt flats where they're driving it, or the flats that they're driving it on in general.
This one's going to be in Africa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. But they're like laser etching the whole runway that they're going to be driving the thing on, so that there will be nothing larger than a marble in the way. Because if he drove over something with the aluminum, like solid aluminum wheels,
Yeah, I think they're going to be spinning with the same force required to separate DNA from cells.
Yeah.
And what were they, 200-pound aluminum wheels?
Yeah, I think so. If he ran over something that large, it would feel like he was a bullet went through his entire body.
Speaking of bullets going through his entire body, the cockpit is reinforced, so just in case, you know, a rock, like this thing is armored basically, in case a rock goes flying or whatever else, it's not going to go in and kill him because, yeah, at that kind of speed, it would you would be done.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting, and to put 1,000 miles per hour in perspective, this was what drove it home for me. That is the length of 3 football pitches per second.
It's 400 and something meters per
So
second.
a football pitch is, I believe, a little longer than an American football field, which is 100 yards. So I'm sure someone's going to destroy me in the comments for not knowing how long a football pitch is, but whatever. The point is 3 football pitches per second. Unreal.
I think someone in the comments must have figured it out.
Someone probably
Online
did. But
executives. Someone will have converted it to meters per second. It's going to be here. Come on. Oh, 447.
447 meters per second?
Apparently, yeah, or 1,600 kilometers.
There you go. So 447 meters per second. Unreal. All right.
That's incredibly fast.
Oh yeah, I think we never said the name of the. So the vehicle is called the Bloodhound SSC.
Epic.
All right, so let's talk about some other high performance stuff here. That's totally back to actual computers.
People were laughing at you because you said football pitch.
Why? That's what they're called.
I know.
No, I'm not going to call it soccer. It's not called soccer. Like, one small fraction of the world calls it soccer.
Yes, that's true.
That's
but
it.
the origins weren't from the States.
And the name of football is stupid here in the States because you do not
You
play...
used your foot a lot more when it was first started.
Right. So what?
When they invented the game, you use your foot a lot more.
Right, so then change the name. I mean, if baseball, if they remove the bases, are they still? If they remove the base of the ball, yeah. I mean, they do kind of play ball. That's implied. The
That's
base
true.
Isn't...
That's true.
But if
Bat-ball.
if basketball, if they take away the baskets,
Ring ball.
ring ball. You can't keep calling it basketball.
Yeah, no,
you can't call American and
soccer came from association though. It's not even an American thing. I believe it's from Oxford or something.
Something like that. Either
I don't remember
way,
where, but...
the sport is not called soccer. I refuse to call it soccer. It is called football, and football in North America is called American football. So that's it. That's how I'm going to do it, and you guys can all deal with it because I am the caped badass.
I really feel like you need to have like a bandana over your face
This
so you
thing
don't
really
have to
smells.
cover it like this.
It's been in my attic.
It just smells like old.
Forever.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to this topic posted by Rock with original articles from TheVerge.com and Gadget and Digital Trends. I'm mad at The Verge right now, though, so we're not bringing up their article. There is a really stupid piece on The Verge right now about Gamergate, like just phenomenally stupid. Like the dumbest thing I've read since that. Oh, don't do that. Edgy.
Come on. It's a freaking... It's this.
I know. Anyway,
I'm a duck.
yeah, it's the dumbest thing I've read since that critique of Shadow of Mordor, where you learn the sneak attack tactic by kissing your wife.
That was so dumb.
I don't
remember who did that.
I didn't say it was dumber than that. I said it was the dumbest thing I've read since then.
Since then, okay. Yeah.
All right, so here's the article on digitaltrends.com, and they have a hands-on of the Alienware graphics amplifier turbocharge your laptop with a desktop GPU. Alienware now makes a box for that. So basically what this does is it connects via an unfortunately proprietary cable.
So it only works with Alienware laptops.
Only works with select Alienware laptops.
Even then.
Which is sort of a bummer. But basically, it's a power supply and a PCI Express slot inside. Let's see if they've... Yep, there we go. So it's a power supply and a PCI Express slot inside that allows you to basically have external PCI Express and plug it into your laptop. I think the only models it works with right now are ones that probably don't even really need an external graphics card for the moment. Yeah. But if you want to be able to upgrade in the future... Then, oh, hold on, here we go. The Alienware 13 will only ship with GeForce GTX 860M graphics. It's disappointing that the blah, 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 but that does give you more of a reason to upgrade to the whatever the thing. Okay, blah, 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 something, something.
Something, something, whatever the thing. Super helpful information on the stream, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's actually not a lot of info about it here, and I didn't do much reading about this.
I'd be interested to see. It's going to be hard to... Like, I wonder if you could spend a while and find clock speeds for a mobile GPU and a desktop GPU that would be comparable in terms of performance, and then test what frame rates you can get having a GPU and a desktop machine and the GPU and the laptop machine.
Like, you mean like benchmarking mobile CPUs that way?
Like, try to benchmark a mobile CPU and then clock back your desktop CPU to try and find an equivalency. And then once you found a CPU level equivalency, then bench the graphics card on each one and see what the performance difference is.
You can play around with it a fair bit, but the issue that I ran into when I was doing my my 980 versus 980M video not that long ago was that even though motherboards do let you play around with your CPU multiplier a fair bit, many of them don't let you turn it down.
No, turn down the desktop one.
Yeah, they don't let you turn it down enough.
Oh, enough.
Yeah, so you can turn it down a little bit, but you can't turn it down enough to be equivalent to a same architecture mobile CPU.
Yeah, we'd have to get a much older architecture one, I guess.
And once you're doing that, it becomes an apples to oranges comparison.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So that was the challenge that I ran into. Supports any GPU up to 375 watts and works for now only with the Alienware 13. So that one does have an 860M, so... Hopefully, I guess that gives people a compelling reason to buy one of these. It costs $300 though, so you'll pay. You have to buy a new laptop, you have to buy a graphics card, and you have to buy $300 for the privilege of using the box. And
considering how much, like how long those boxes have existed in various forms, and how much is really going into that box, it's pretty expensive.
I mean, this standard makes no sense until it runs on Thunderbolt. So, yeah, and it will. At some point, we will get Thunderbolt boxes that allow external GPUs. In fact, the only reason they don't work now is that AMD and NVIDIA haven't enabled it. Yeah. So all Alienware's done here is they've exposed a direct PCI Express link through a proprietary cable so that the GPU can't tell that it's, in an external box. Yeah. That's all they've done. There's no reason that Thunderbolt's bandwidth couldn't support external GPUs.
And Windows is just like, sure, whatever, cool.
Yeah. So they're just kind of hiding it from everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I love mechanical keyboards. I love Cherry, but this. But
I still don't think this makes a ton of sense.
This is nuts.
Originally posted by Nagby on the forum. I'll pull up the original article here.
The most redonkulous-looking laptop in a long time. I can't say ever because there's some old school ones that look absolutely hilarious. Stupid. But like, what?
I'm gonna let that sink in for a moment. So you know how I've talked about this in the past, how the way that technology is miniaturizing and power consumption and heat output are going down not only enables smaller devices, but also devices that are the same size where we pack all that hardware into a small part of it and build in additional functionality, bigger batteries, or whatever else the case may be. This is not what I had in mind.
No.
So... You want to cover this one? What is this thing?
I don't even... Okay, so it's all the main components for the laptop go into that super uninteresting looking, other than the dragon, I guess, but like kind of useless area above the keyboard.
I gotta say this, if they have to have a brushed aluminum panel...
That's where to put it.
It's better to have it above above the palm rest rather than as the palm rest.
Definitely, they get points for that, and that dragon looks pretty cool. But still, that's a huge blank area, which is essentially unusable. I like that they even moved the buttons closer to the keyboard, so like the power button is
Yep.
closer to the keyboard, not at the top. So again, with the brushed aluminum thing, you're probably not going to be dragging your fingers over it very often. But essentially, the keyboard area is just blank space because the switches and everything are so tall, and you need the electrical base for the keyboard under that as well. So that whole area is just the keyboard. And then above that is where the whole rest of your laptop goes.
And for those of you wondering, well, hold on a second, where's the touchpad? Ah, yes, MSI does have that taken care of. They have a touchpad over here on the right.
Yeah.
That it also serves as a number pad if you want to put it in.
So that's going to be a super weird place to have a touchpad.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work for the Razer Blade.
Nope.
It's not going to work for this. Touchpad on the right is a bad idea because especially if you use your touchpad two-handed, like a lot of people do, one hand for movement, one hand for clicking, having it over on the right like that is actually pretty darn inconvenient. Sup?
Sorry, don't worry about it. I'll
Okay.
talk about it later.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just silly. And like just leave I like the mechanical keyboards in there. It's not a good way to implement it, and I don't think there is a good way to implement it. I would rather it was just a good laptop, and I could just take one with me. I'll just take a 10 keyless with me.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see if we can... Okay, would you prefer this design if the mechanical keyboard was in the more traditional keyboard location at the top of the laptop?
No.
I think I would.
Why?
Because if
And
they
you just
could...
have this giant blank space under it.
No, because... Okay, hold on a second. No, I still don't... Okay, so here. Here's a more traditional laptop. If they could put the mechanical keyboard here, and then they used all this space for internals, and they could keep the touchpad here, would you tolerate kind of an empty space here with a mechanical keyboard and all the guts here, and then just, I mean, basically all you would need is small PCBs down the sides for I/O.
So nothing really changed.
And then you would need wiring up to the screen. Like, would that have been a better way to do it?
Well, nothing really changed
Yeah.
in that aspect. Yeah.
Other than that, there's a mechanical keyboard in it with the added weight and added thickness that does come with the territory.
I worry if there's maybe other issues with that. I don't really know what they could be.
Like that it's just dumb overall, or...
Maybe. I don't know. I don't actually make laptops. I don't feel like it should be that
Really?
big
Tell
of an
me
issue.
more.
I tried to make a laptop once. It was a Friday. It was raining outside. No,
I was like, well, if Apple can do it, then...
that's probably fine. It's
Probably
no
not
big
that
deal.
hard.
I'm chained. It's all right. Yeah, I don't know. It should be fine. I would have definitely preferred they did it that way. The first thing I thought of when I saw this was, why is the keyboard there? That makes no sense. And then they're
Yeah.
like, space for hardware and cooling. But yeah, just move. And like, I get it. It's probably back exhaust.
Yep, rear
So
exhaust.
having the keyboard in the way of that, you'd have to have like side exhaust,
Right.
which could get in the way of I/O. But then
Yep.
I don't think anyone's really complained that much about having I/O on the back of the laptop.
Yeah,
I don't mind that.
That's a good point. Rear I/O, I would be probably okay with that.
Maybe if you had like a few on the side that the keyboard is on, not the blank side
Yeah.
that you were talking about.
Yeah.
You could have a couple, like maybe 1 or 2 USB ports, and that's it.
Yeah.
Just so you don't have to run a ton of stuff there. And then have your I/O at the back and then exhaust at the sides. That's probably fine. I used to use the side exhaust on my Bamboo to heat things up.
I've got. I'm just changing subjects. I've got people in the Twitch chat pointing out that if the entire if the heat generating components of a laptop, bearing in mind that this is a gaming machine, so we've got a powerful
So it would be
GPU
under
in
your
there.
hands.
It would be right under your touchpad. However, what I will point out is that Asus seems to have that problem kicked, because on their 750 series and their 751, both the bottom and the top of the laptop are cool enough for use, even
Yeah,
with the
but
GTX
again,
980M.
this is the thickest part of the laptop is at the back.
Yes.
Which is the best way to
the
do
booty.
it. And then if they have big heat sinks here,
The best
and
way to
exhaust
do it.
fans. Yeah, man.
At the back is the back. Okay, you know what? I think we should move on. So our next topic here is the Motorola Droid Turbo.
Basically, sorry, I'm gonna keep going for a sec. Basically, having your heat sinks at the front would drastically decrease how big they are.
Yeah, how
which
big
would
they can
actually
be.
an issue.
Unless we went with like the classic like brick style laptop with no natural angled design to it,
You could use the rubber feet on the bottom.
just rectangular prism style.
Yeah.
All right. Moving
Let's
on to
not.
the Motorola Droid Turbo. Is it the phone that I was asking for a mere 2 weeks ago with 2-day battery life? They claim it is. We're talking up to 48 hours battery life, 8 hours of charge in 15 minutes with that new quick charging technology. Can't remember what it's called at the moment, but we're going to do it fast as possible on it later. Then I'll hopefully remember. Got a 21 megapixel camera if you shoot in 4x3, or 15.5 megapixels if you shoot in 16:9. But pro tip for those of you out there who want to take the best possible pictures, just take a square picture and crop it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, f2.0 aperture, so that's a very wide open aperture. It shoots 4K 24 FPS video, 1080p 30 FPS, and 720p slow-mo. It's got a Qualcomm Snapdragon 805 processor with 2.7 GHz quad-core and an Adreno 420 GPU. You might say it has high performance.
Oh my god.
3 gigs of RAM,
I didn't
5.2
even think
inch.
about that. I should have.
5.2 inch 1440p AMOLED screen, 13900 milliamp hour battery, water resistant, NFC, 32 gig and 64 gig models. The back is made of like fine woven materials and mono front ported speakers. So I don't like the mono, do like the front port.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone likes the mono.
No.
No, it makes you real sick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, keep going.
Oh, this was posted by McMad358 on the forum, by the way. Thank you for posting. And there's articles from everywhere in the entire internet, so why don't we just pull up droidlife.com. Unfortunately, some of the reports of the Droid Turbo's real-world battery life are not well aligned with the 48-hour battery life claim.
Ooh. That's super disappointing. I actually didn't read that part. I really like their web view thing. You can directly compare it against other phones, which is pretty cool. I don't remember. I think that was on Motorola's actual website. You could pair up other phones to compare it against, and then it had a direct compare thing, which is actually really helpful. One thing I'm not impressed with is they ditched the ring flash, which they've been doing recently. I don't know why they did that. Why bother? I don't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz around it. I've requested a review unit, but Motorola mostly ignores me these days, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll cover it. Maybe we won't.
Yeah. Hopefully that 48-hour thing is actually true.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that the thing about Android is that if it gets bogged down enough, you could have a 6,000 milliamp hour battery and you could still find a way to drain it in 8 hours.
That's true.
That's the problem with Android.
That's true. I've got a buddy that runs a lot of widgets and stuff on his Note. What is that new one? 4? Note 4?
Yeah.
And almost maxes out his RAM capacity idling.
Right.
So, like, people can do that for sure. And he's not even doing a ton. Like, it doesn't seem too ridiculous on his phone. And he's using that much of his RAM automatically, which is pretty intense.
Okay, so hold on a second. I actually need this. Okay, just a second. So I think it might be time for our sponsor time. So our first sponsor today is 5-4 Clothing. I'm going to go ahead and actually see if I can get everything right. I had it. I made it Nick's job.
You should see how wrong you can get it.
I should see how wrong I can get it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter.
Oh, did you add a Dollar Shave Club lower third anywhere?
Yeah, I think it's under that one.
It's under that one? Okay.
Pretty sure.
All right. So 5-4 Club, use offer code Linus2 to get an extra item in your first package. Oh, good. So this is actually the same offer that we had before. So actually it's not that hard. So the way 5-4 works is for $60 a month, and you can head over to excuse me. You can head over to their website. Let's go ahead and just, yay, there we go. Okay, I've got a picture of the free item that you get. So the way it works is for $60 a month, they have one of their, I'm going to make up the name for them because I never get anything right for 5.4 anyway, so I might as well just make things up as I go along. They have one of their fashion artisans.
Sure,
yeah. Pick out clothes for you based on a short survey that takes just a couple minutes to fill out, where you tell them some clothing that you like, you tell them your size, you tell them some shoes that you like, you tell them sort of some stuff about you, and they go ahead and they pick up stuff that they think you're going to like, they send it to you, and you pay half of what the sticker price would be on their website. So you can actually check it out over at 54clothing.com. They've actually got a surprising number of like photos of like A-list celebrities and stuff who wear 5.4, because the whole idea behind it is that instead of going to the store and feeling like you're being judged by all the sales associates because you don't know what you're doing, the idea is that you should be able to look nice and be well dressed without worrying about any of that stuff and without ever actually leaving your home in your pajamas, which is what you'll have to do the first time if you ever want to actually update your wardrobe.
Or every time.
So the special offer with offer code Linus2 is to get that shirt that I showed you guys before free in your first package along with your new subscription. So let's go ahead and show that again. Yay! Look at it.
Hooray.
I should get one of these. Actually, I'm wearing a 5.4 shirt right now.
There you go.
Look at that. I actually quite like this one. So not all of their stuff is like 5.4 logos all over the place either. In fact, kind of funny story. You know that shirt that I wear in my Fastest Possible videos? Everyone thinks it's FaZe Clan. No.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's FaZe Clan. No, it's a 5.4 shirt.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, it's amazing how many comments I get on that shirt.
No, when I wear my 5.4 shirt, everyone says I'm FaZe Clan. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Same
no.
thing.
We actually just wear 5.4 shirts.
Yeah.
Not FaZe Clan shirts. All right, which brings
we have
us
no affiliates with FaZe Clan. That would be cool, but no.
Which brings us to our second sponsor today, Dollar Shave Club. Yet another service that's all about not looking like a hobo without actually having to leave your house looking like a hobo while you shop for the supplies to not make you look like a hobo. So Dollar Shave Club is another subscription-based service. This time it's all about bathroom supplies. So you can get their high-quality razors, their Dr. Carver's shave butter, their One Wipe Charlie's peppermint-scented butt wipes for men, and you can actually get travel sizes of the One Wipe Charlie's. Yeah, one-time use packages. Remember, none of them are reusable though.
I wonder if that would help in like countries where you have to buy toilet paper anyways.
Yeah, just carrying
when you have to go to the washroom, you have to buy toilet paper or whatever, right? I think there's countries like that.
Then yeah, they just carry
Just
One Wipe Charlie's
bring
around
One
with
Wipe
you.
Charlie's with you.
So anyway, the point is to make your butt smell like peppermint. No, wait, that isn't the point. What am I even talking about again?
I always find some way for like apparently females use it more now, and like now it's a traveling companion to countries where you have to buy toilet paper. Man, I should be a marketing person for Dollar Shave Club.
Dollar Shave Club? Yeah. All right. So speaking of marketing things for Dollar Shave Club, today we are going to be doing a live test of a Dollar Shave Club razor versus a complete... Wow, this is the most generic razor ever.
Shaving benchmark?
Yeah, shaving benchmark. So I actually had new Nick provide me with actually his personal razor, which he assures me is not his balls razor. Because I am planning to put it on my face. So, okay.
This is why you need this service, because you won't even go to the store to buy your own. You have to use another employee's.
I know, that's because Dollar Shave Club, man. I'm not gonna go buy razors, that's stupid. I mean, okay, it's cheaper, and it takes less time. That's the whole idea behind it.
I know, it's just funny. You needed a sample one, but you wouldn't...
Okay, tell me this. Why weren't you able to give me a non-Dollar Shave Club razor to try?
Well, now I use Dollar Shave Club one.
Okay.
We've all seen my old ones.
Yeah, I know. Your old ones were terrible. You shouldn't use those. All right. So half of the face with Dollar Shave Club, half of the face with the generic razor. We're going to start with the generic one just to see what kind of results we get out of it. All right. So hold on a second. Let's go ahead and make sure we got a good grip on the thing. And it's all over my head!
Nick!
Nick, get in
I
here!
don't have my phone!
We've got What are you doing?
I'm covering
Is
your
it our
wounds.
last seconds on the
Covering your
we need
wounds.
to make the most?
Nick! I'm trying to stop the bleeding. Nick! What are you doing, Nick?
I think you're peaking the audio.
right.
Okay, obviously we're just messing
Hopefully I
with
can
you
clean that
guys.
off my jacket.
Oh, that stuff is disgusting. Oh, it's all over the place.
Nick said it tasted like chocolate.
No, it doesn't.
He was lying to me.
That liar.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get this out of my jacket.
We don't actually have any...
It's the only inner liner, though.
No, it's washable. It's washable.
I told people we were supposed to get... Where's the paper towel and stuff? We didn't know you were gonna
There's TP here, and this stuff tastes disgusting. It does
You
not
told me it
taste
tastes like chocolate! You're such a troll. Oh my goodness. Oh, man.
Oh. Okay, so guys, just to be clear,
Maybe he just thinks that chocolate
this
is
is
disgusting.
this is fake, and we were just having some fun. Yeah, we were just having some fun because it's Halloween. But seriously, Dollar Shave Club, good stuff. Save time, save money, and thanks to Dollar Shave Club for being good sports about our silly little thing. That's okay. This is lots. This is lots. I'm just gonna dump some water on it, away from my laptop. The last thing it needs is to get water all over it again.
Again.
Yeah, for the second time. I don't know if it would survive that again. All right, thanks guys. And those do not taste like chocolate. I hate you.
You're such a jerk.
Chocolate tastes terrible.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful. If I'd known it was going to taste this bad, I would have brought myself something good to eat.
If you had to compare it to something, what would be the most comparable thing?
It's about like, have you ever eaten the stem of a dandelion?
Probably like a really long
Yeah,
time
like
ago.
when you were a kid or
Yeah,
whatever, just
yeah.
because you're an idiot. Like
Yeah,
dandelion
yeah.
milk, you know, some kid tells you it tastes like real milk and you eat it. It tastes about like dandelion milk.
Okay, I can't
Yeah.
imagine that's good.
Like that's, and dandelion milk is the kind of thing that people troll other people by telling them to eat because it's gross. So, yeah, let's go ahead and... Oh, I got blood on my 5-4 shirt. Okay, so I think that's it for sponsor time. Guys, join the club. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/Linus. Again, thanks to them for being good sports about our little fun thing that we decided to do. All right. Let's go ahead and... I love how slow the reaction was to us sounding like there was something wrong.
Yeah, they're obviously never gonna save us if we're in like some sort of bad situation.
Yeah, if there's ever a fire, I think we can pretty much count on having to go out that window.
and like us solving every problem.
Yeah. Oh, actually, one more thing that I really wanted to mention was we did a live stream with Modus. We've actually done 2 of them over the last few weeks. The last stream is going to be next Thursday, but there are some giveaways, so you guys are going to want to head over to blog.modus.com to qualify for a free membership to Code School. So if you're interested in learning coding, Code School is a great place to do that, and you can go to blog.modus.com/code-school/code-school giveaway
all
more.
of these web education services.
Yeah, so anyway, the point is, go to blog.modus, modis.com, and you can qualify for the giveaway, and also check out that next stream. Stream number 2 in particular, I thought was awesome. Our guest was fantastic, lots of fun, very bubbly personality, and it was really cool talking to her, particularly about women in the programming space, because she basically said, yeah,
More
it's
common than you
been
would expect.
great. Yeah, you know what? I noticed that when I did my Ubisoft studio tour in Montreal. There were so many women working there.
Yep.
And not just as secretaries. Like, the lady who was talking to us about their state-of-the-art motion capture, for example. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like...
And okay, when I was taking software engineering, it was a very low percentage. When I was taking computer science, IT database courses, it was 25-30%, which is a lot more than what I think a lot of people would expect.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We've once again dicked around during the first 2/3 of the show and have very little time left. So Far Cry 4 Dev, Resolution doesn't sell games. This was posted by Raf Benayan on the forum, and the original article is from NeoGaf. 1080p or not 1080p isn't an interesting question. It is certainly not something I care about in a game, said Alex Hutchinson, Far Cry 4 creative director.
Good for you.
Said this after confirming the target resolution and frame rate of 1080p 30 FPS. It feels weird to me that people are cool about playing a sort of retro pixel game, and yet the resolution somehow matters. It's like, is it fun? Is it interesting? Is it new? Is it fresh? Are there interesting questions? Hutchinson thinks enthusiasm for high-end visuals is waning, and
These things are not mutually exclusive.
yeah, you can have a fun game that also looks great.
And it's not like we're asking for every game to come out like 4K. We're asking for like a very reasonable amount.
We're asking for not immersion-breaking aliasing.
We're trying
all
to
over
not
the
go
place.
backwards.
Yeah.
We're not trying to shove you and push you incredibly hard to go forwards. You should be doing that on your own.
Yeah.
This isn't yeah. We're not even saying that. And of course, it's important to have new things in games. Like he says, a new spin on an evolution, I think, is more interesting. Like new topics, asking new questions, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, do that. You can do that while having a reasonable amount of resolution and a reasonable frame rate. You don't have to have. Oh God, they make my brain hurt. Why don't they just stop talking?
Yeah.
You've probably.
Let's
seen
just
them.
stop talking about that. Speaking of things that I can't
Not
understand.
even us. They need to stop talking. They just keep digging every single time.
Speaking of things that I can't figure out why anyone actually cares about, Apple CEO Tim Cook comes out and says, I am proud to be gay. The original article is from money.cnn.com, and I think that's about all the attention that this topic deserves, because who gives a crap?
All right,
Nobody
moving
should
on.
care
Yeah.
at all. Although one thing that I am kind of happy to see, though, is that, you know, we live in a time when we can have a non-white dude in the White House and the CEO of the most valuable company in America be openly gay. So I guess that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right,
And
so
then there's been, X-Wing and TIE Fighter.
oh my...
I'm going to jump a few.
Speaking
Because we have
of,
to have that.
Speaking of pixelated games, I have you already bought them?
No.
Oh,
I didn't know it was a thing until, like, pretty close to before the show.
Okay, and there's a guide on crap. I have it bookmarked. I can't remember what site it is, but they've got a guide on updating the graphics of X-Wing. Haven't looked into it for TIE Fighter yet. TIE Fighter was actually my favorite of the games. I actually never even finished the campaign of X-Wing, but TIE Fighter is one of my favorite games of all time, and it has stood up to the test of time surprisingly well. Great story, great music score, great gameplay, fantastic gameplay. The missions are challenging in a way that new games really aren't. Like, you can be out there flying for 45 minutes and, like, some shuttle takes off from somewhere that you need to intercept and you're in the wrong part of the battlefield. You don't get over there. You don't divert everything away from weapons and shields and get the crap over there and disable that thing. You failed the mission. You start over. Like, great game, and so they're on good old
And the
games.
resolution for the time it was released was probably just fine, Ubisoft.
You need a joystick to play. I think the original 1994 release, like the one that I had, you could play with a mouse, but it was stupid. It was bad. It was like super, super bad. I specifically bought a joystick for TIE Fighter, and it was worth every penny. In fact, that joystick is here at the office, and I've been meaning to take it home forever because I finally bought a USB to game port adapter. So I am planning to go home this weekend and play TIE Fighter with my Top Gun joystick.
So bad.
I'm actually going to go get that so I can show it off right now. You want to handle the next topic?
Do you have your streaming setup hooked up?
I'm sorry?
Do you have your streaming setup hooked up so you can stream that?
Yeah, I don't need to take my webcam away anymore, so I have my webcam at home. So
You
maybe
should stream that.
maybe I should stream some time.
I don't even...
Not gonna trip on this again. No, not happening.
There you go. Good work. I'm jumping back to the dock. That's like the last thing that I really want to... Nope, there's a few other things that are really good. What should I tackle? YouTube 60 FPS is finally here. You need to select the 1080p 60 or 720p 60 options in your quality settings for it to work. I know some people have apps for like Firefox or Chrome, which will automatically select the highest end possible thing. You might need to disable that for certain people that are releasing certain videos for it to be able to actually work properly. I don't know, but I'm sure they'll fix those options at some point.
What's this? YouTube, 60
Yeah,
FPS,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
People keep asking if we're going to do 60 FPS videos. The answer is no. Unless we're talking like gameplay videos or something that really benefits from it. Product showcases and reviews and like that do not benefit in any tangible way from 60 FPS, and I would rather shoot in 4K. And right now, it's one or the other for us with our filming equipment.
And and data storage.
And that too, yeah. 4K is already killing us. The fastest possible we shot today, 80 gigs with the new recording format.
Pretty insane.
Fortunately, we'll be doing an updated Ultimate NAS with 8 Seagate 6TB enterprise grade drives. So yeah, that's 48 terabytes.
So awesome.
Yeah, Ruskin server's getting an upgrade there, baby. Okay, so what else we got?
I can't wait till we get a Linus Media Group petabyte.
Oh, T-Mobile CEO.
Oh, that's
this guy is
hilarious.
crazy.
He's nuts.
He's insane. I love him. Every time he opens his mouth, it's solid gold. Don't buy your iPad from us. New iPads from major US carriers are network locked. And he basically says, look, we didn't ask for this. We didn't want this. We don't want these iPads to be locked, but they're locked out of the factory. Don't buy your iPad from us. Go buy it from the Apple Store.
And then bring it to us. Which is great.
So the SIMs are pre-locked, just to be clear.
Yeah.
So he just says, what is this? This is stupid. He said, so he tweeted out, my advice to everyone, and I'll get in trouble for this, buy it from the Apple Store. Love it.
He's great. That's absolutely fantastic.
IBM is fighting Ebola with a supercomputer, so they teamed up with Cambridge University Africa's Voices Project, telco firm. Okay, so they teamed up with a bunch of really important stuff. They developed a system that lets people report Ebola-related issues and concerns via SMS or voice calls. And basically, what they had to say about it is, for us to tackle Ebola, it is crucial to maintain an open dialogue between the government and the people. So creating opinion-based heat maps that show areas of worry and areas of infection, and has already highlighted regions with growing numbers of suspected infections. Also working with Nigeria, so they've been cleared of disease, to support preparedness for future outbreaks.
You can play Plague Inc. with real life.
Cool. AMD is going to be relaunching the R9 290X with 8 gigs of memory. We actually have a pretty exciting project
heard
coming
about
up with
this.
that. Yeah, 3 34-inch curved LG monitors running off of triple R9 290X 8 gig cards. We're talking like 14 megapixels and change of resolution, surround gaming curved.
What's the dollar value in that in just GPUs and monitors?
$6,000 ish. Yeah, like we're talking
Nice.
some badass stuff.
That'll look really cool.
Currently only available from Sapphire, but Club 3D Power Color, I think MSI is coming out with one. And this will be available for the holiday season in order to better compete, presumably, with the GTX 980. These will be custom cooled cards with higher clock rates than reference. And to be clear, guys, even AMD is not going to be like, yeah, 8 gigs of memory, it's going to like do things. You know, it's more of a future-proofing thing. It's more of an, if you're running in Crossfire and you're running games at 4K, it's more of a be ready for higher resolution textures, because we are finally getting games that are able to use a 4 gig frame buffer. So if you want something that's going to be able to continue to keep up with higher resolution textures, it might be worth considering. I personally hate the F word, future-proofing, but there you go. That's what it is. I did hear a rumor, though, that NVIDIA is planning to launch 8 gig versions of the 980 and 970 to counter this card. So we'll have to see how that all shakes down.
Happy to see that at the same, because as long as they have the lower RAM amount, cheaper cards as well, because not everyone will need them, I think it'll be really good. Because some people will, but not everybody.
All right. So what else we got here? I guess we don't really have much more time, so maybe we'll do some rapid fire topics.
Sure.
Speaking of LG and their curved 34-inch monitor, LG releases 31-inch Cinema 4K IPS monitor. So rather than being 3840 by 2160, this is the full 4K, not Ultra HD. To be clear, they are different. I believe it's 4160 by 2160 or 41. Oh crap! Now I forget. 4096 by 2160. There we go. The article on RedmondPie.com saved me here, and they are saying that it is suitable for professional use, and considering that it's coming in at a mere $1,400.
Whoa,
Wow,
that's actually cheaper than I thought.
that's a lot
Still
cheaper
expensive,
than I thought.
but it's not as expensive as I expected for that product.
Yeah, I mean, compared to other professional grade
exactly.
displays, I mean, this is a pro grade resolution, and they're saying it's going to be suitable for color work and for professional video editors and all that kind of stuff. This looks absolutely fantastic. Nice thin bezel. It's got Thunderbolt capability, so you'll be able to connect it to your Mac Pro. Nice professional looking stand that will look completely at home in an office environment. Looks like it's got some ergonomic adjustments. I don't know if we're going to get pivot here, but it looks like we should at least have swivel, height adjust, and tilt. And it does have a VESA mount, so you could mount it to another arm if you wanted.
One thing we need to do is build logs. And there's a new format for that. I don't know if you've seen that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Also, Reddit is launching their own crowdfunding site. They do seem to be a little late to the party here, but it's called Reddit Made. This was actually posted by Tech Dreamer on the forum. It's going to focus more on physical goods like t-shirts, and the company will take a small cut of the campaign to cover the costs of its platform. I mean, Reddit has so much potential. They have so much mind share, and they have such a large audience. It's just, I mean, I don't know that they're ever going to turn reddit.com into something profitable. But
they could turn spin-offs like this.
Spin-offs like this could be the future of that company, and could be the thing that allows them to really turn into a massively profitable company.
Their daily goal, Reddit Gold thing has been very helpful for them, I believe.
Yep.
And the PC Master Race in general, actually, the amount of gold that goes through that subreddit is insane. I don't know if you've ever seen that. They're like one of the most, I think they are one of the most gilded subreddits like ever. And they're fairly small compared to other relative subreddits. So that's, I
think it's only around 250,000 members.
I'm not even sure, but they're pretty impressive in terms of helping out Reddit, which is actually pretty cool to see.
So this is cool. Project Ara just got an update. There is a real live, honest-to-goodness functioning test phone that boots into Android. Google plans to hold its second ARA conference on January 14th, so that's right around CES time. And here it is. So there's this is on the Phone Blocks blog. Project ARA update. Look at that. Okay, let's go ahead and actually skip to the part where we get to see it. There we go. So you can... Oh, dang it. There we go. So don't move it. Hey, hold still. All right, so you can see that the modules are going to be different sizes here. That's something that I think a lot of people were not really hoping for. They were kind of hoping for just a grid-based system on the back, and you could rearrange things Tetris style if you wanted to. But I think that as a first step, this probably makes a ton of sense. Because not everything needs to be as large as a battery or CPU and cooling module. But yeah, look at that. It boots into Android. So that happens, hold on.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's not as chunky. Here, profile view. Hey,
it's
stop moving.
not chunky.
Yeah, it's not chunky.
But it's also not that big either.
But it's also not nearly as chunky as I was expecting. And given that we're not going to see a commercial product for another generation or two of other smartphones, it could continue to catch up.
When is the release date for Project Ara?
Okay, hold on a second.
Because it could be sooner, I think.
I don't think they've actually
January
committed to one.
2015, $50. No, I think this was a fairly certain thing. The $50 January 2013 thing. Or I mean January 2015, not 13. I'm in the past.
First modular smartphone. We'll call it April 15th, 2014. Okay, well, okay. If it's the size that it is now, I mean, that doesn't actually look that much chunkier than something like an Xperia Z2. I would be very, very, very excited to check this one out, and I will definitely order one.
Yeah, for sure. Announced today at the Project Ara Developers Conference that it is the first modular smartphone will go on sale in January 2015 for the low price of $50, and it will be a boring gray design device by design, so to get people to customize it themselves. Interesting. I don't know if that's still kind of the plan or what, but yeah.
All right, so PS4 Slim and Xbox One are both, or PS4 Slim is a rumored thing, but the PS4 and the Xbox One are both rumored to be getting hardware upgrades sometime in 2015. Wow. If that's not an admission of failure, I mean, what? It's funny. The whole PC Master Race thing is kind of funny to me now, when a console is just a PC in every possible way.
Yeah.
You still have to download a patch for your game on launch day.
Yeah.
Regardless of PC or console version. You're still going to need system updates.
You're still probably going to need an update when they release these new systems so that you can play older games at higher resolutions and frame rates.
Yep, you're gonna have to actually look at the back of the disc case in order to find out which system it works for, and you're not just gonna buy a box and have that work for you for 5 or 8 years or whatever else. You're actually going to have to upgrade, except instead of dropping in a new graphics card once in a while, now you get to buy a completely new box. And the really scary thing about Xbox One and PS4 and the owners for those consoles is that, unlike previous generation consoles like the 360 and the PlayStation 3, which I think retain some value because of their game library, an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4, what value will they have? What value does a console that now, and now developers, that whole argument of, oh, it's easier to develop for the console because it's one piece of hardware, now those two consoles are going to be 4 pieces of hardware. So those original launch consoles aren't going to have disadvantages like smaller onboard hard drives or, HD DVD or whatever. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like, you're going to be running the same games as your buddy with his Xbox One Gen 2, but at crappier details, just like on the PC. Just like if you had an older PC, and no one is going to want that thing.
And then I'm still laughing off in the corner with my Wii U and my PC combo, because that's the way to go.
So there you go. Anyway, it is Halloween today, and I am going trick-or-treating with my kids. We gotta
do the build logs.
So we're doing the build log now.
And then we're good.
All right, here, you handle this.
No, it's super easy. I want you to do it. Click on the link. No, what?
Here, you do it.
No, go back. You
go back.
You can do this.
I hate you.
I believe you. Actually, the build log. There you go.
I
want to show you how this works.
Yeah.
Because it'll work.
Can I screen share now?
I might want to wait till it loads. Why is it not loading?
Really easy.
No!
It's really easy, though.
It just... There, okay. And then, why is it so slow?
You're slow.
Oh, that was mean.
Hashtag get wrecked.
No, you... You can full screen this once it loads.
Full screen you. Speaking of full screen, we're on full screen now.
Yay.
We actually changed YouTube networks, so we're still going to be doing all... Did I mention this already?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think you mentioned that you were going to in the after party last week.
Oh.
I don't think everyone saw it. I could be wrong.
Okay, well, whatever. We're still going to live stream on Twitch. We still love Twitch. They're good guys. But we're on full screen for YouTube now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll full screen this. I will get us the truck out of the frame. Yes, I want to allow it. All right.
So this is the voters' pick. This is Mr. Tough 2.0, which you can probably see why it's called that, because it has a Sabertooth.
Sabertooth Tough Series motherboard.
Yeah.
Carbide Air 540.
Yeah.
90 gig Kingston HyperX. That's an older. Wow,
and
that's
a
an older
240.
SSD. And a 240 gig.
Yeah.
Lots of water cooling gear.
So this is a progress shot.
Very nice.
Definitely progress shot. Keep going. Now it looks totally different.
Whoa. That's a cool... That's like a carbon fiber... Digicamo cool, thing, actually.
Yeah. The only thing... I do really like it overall. The only thing I was like, what? Was the cable sleeving. Because everything is like, even the rings on the fans are green, and all the tubing is green, and then the motherboard's all crazy and stuff, and the cable sleeving is like...
There was an opportunity to do camo sleeving here.
Yes, definitely. That's the only thing. It's amazingly cool computer. I love what he did with it.
Love that. Love that this matches the inside over here.
Super, super cool. I really like it. I think you would just escape to get out of it. And then there's one more. Then there's the staff pick. And the procedure is the same.
All
Hopefully it
right,
doesn't
so I
lag
wait
as
for the
much.
slow as balls, supposedly easy to use site to load here.
There we go. That was
All
a
right,
little bit
that
better.
one was a lot faster. All right, so this is Ark.
There you go.
Ark of the Covenant.
By Ichem. This is the staff pick.
You know, they should remake Raiders with the Ark of the Covenant being like Halo themed.
No, they shouldn't.
There's a different Covenant, mind you, but
No. It's funny because both of those things work, but they should really not do that.
wow, I love this. Dual Xeons, 64 gig SSD, but then 3 120 gig SSDs.
Yeah.
Two 7870 Hawk editions, so I'm thinking gaming is a lower priority than crunching. Wow.
Didn't expect that small of a case.
Wow, that is very cool. So this is in the beginning. Uh-huh. Some tweaks. Liking it. Liking them
Looks
tracer
so
memory
sick.
modules.
All that blue.
Wow, what a sexy rig.
Super nice.
Lee and Lee does such a great job of the designs of their cases.
Yep.
We actually have a review for a PCQ19 Lee and Lee case coming out this weekend, and I love the aesthetics of it. I love the design, but the performance of it is just not there. I make some suggestions though in terms of tweaks for the case that I want to see made, and I really hope that either Lee and Lee or maybe Silverstone, I have some hope for Silverstone, or Cooler Master, the ones that I originally pitched this idea to, I hope someone makes the case that I'm asking for, because I think we could do a fully custom ITX gaming rig in a case the size of a PS4 if we do it right,
Yeah.
with a couple of
I know
expansion
you've been
drives.
talking about that for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, for a little while. For a little while I've been talking about that. I really do want that to happen.
Yeah, I completely agree.
All right. So I don't know. Here's, I guess, one really cool update. EVGA has just confirmed that they have shipped us a GTX 980 classified. So we will have a video coming out about that. This is great. They figure out of the box, the card should do around 1570 megahertz. So see?
Out of the box.
Yep, and with some tweaks, they figure 1600 plus.
That'll be fun. I'm excited to play with that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be pretty
Nice.
good. Also, we are already talking to other manufacturers about doing more factory tours. So a lot of you guys loved the Cherry MX factory tour. We have the Sennheiser one coming still.
Yeah.
So it was Cherry and Sennheiser that sponsored us to be over there and to do those factory tours. I mean, honestly, like between you guys and me and the wall, we did not make money on the trip.
No.
So it was just a matter of we had to pay for flights. I had to pay for people to like work for me and be there and stuff.
Survive.
But the company didn't pull a profit on that trip. I just thought it would be like a really cool experience and potentially really cool content. It was more of an experiment. And we have heard you guys. You have spoken. You want more factory tours. So we're talking to a couple of companies with their manufacturing based in Taiwan about potentially doing some more of
Because
them.
we're trying
So-
to like bundle up trips because then it makes a lot more financial sense.
Yes, it's really hard to justify going somewhere for
Individual trip every time.
one company. No, so if we can get 2 or 3 on board, then it becomes less of a burden for the sponsors to pay for all of our travel expenses and all that, and it becomes more sensible for us to be out of the office for a week to, create more than one video, hopefully.
Yes.
So lots of exciting stuff coming. Also, we've got videos. Mineral oil video 2 is going to be coming next week. So stay tuned for that.
And we will hopefully do Mineral Oil 3 next week.
Hopefully we'll film Mineral Oil
Yeah,
3 next
yeah.
week. Yeah, I'm
So that
really
we can
excited
keep
about
it
that.
kind of rolling.
I'm hoping to film X99 Overclocking Guide next week as well, actually. We've got lots of great stuff coming over the next little bit.
And the motherboard videos.
Yep.
I don't know when those will be ready.
Right.
But
Yeah, do you want to talk about what you're working on, though? And should we do
it's-
this in after party? Okay,
Sure.
Lencho's over. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. I'm going to take this hat off because it's making my nose itchy.
That made sense.
It's these things.
Yeah. Are you sure your nose is itchy because...
Where are you going with that one?